Hey, it's Ray Steele. Hope you like this, and please hit the subscribe button. Appreciate it. Very special guest. You know he's a special guest because he's got the championship title with him. Anytime someone comes in to the studio with a championship title, you know it's going to be fun. This is Pope Adrian Bless, hip-hop artist extraordinaire and visual artist as well. And we're going to be talking about a cool exhibit where he's melding the two, blending the two together, where you'll be able to see and hear all of his work. But first of all, it's good to have you here.
It's a great thing to see you finally. I've been such a fan.
Well, I appreciate that. I've been such a fan of you. Man, I've seen so many videos that our friend Wildstyle Pichelle has posted of your work over the years.
We got to tell him to get us in the schedule for a brunch or something. We can't wait these 2 years. He's such a busy man. We got to sit him down. Listen, some orange juice will be fine. We're not asking for dinner. Just sit with us. You know?
I know. Wildstyle, he is very... Well, okay, he says he's media shy. Every time I try to get him on TV, he's like, I don't do TV. And then I'll see him on like Facebook Live, you know, doing those half-hour, 45-minute Facebook Live
He
things.
will get a documentary together for Facebook, and so many people will watch. So that whole media shy thing, I'm not taking this.
No, I ain't either.
I'm like, go on, man. I'll get you a new hat for it and everything. Come on. Just come on in, man.
Absolutely. Now, as for the championship title, this it's a battle rap belt. You are which champion again?
I am the Underground Battle League World Heavyweight Undisputed Midwest Champion.
Now, battle rap it's something to behold if you haven't seen it before. Maybe you've heard about it.
Yes, sir.
But if you watch the videos that you're involved in, these are organized battles, I guess.
Yes.
I mean, it's two hip-hop artists. You come together and you go head-to-head, and a winner is declared. But at the I watched one before we did this interview today. It got kind of nasty verbally.
Mama been Baptist all her life. Now they give us a pope? Larry Bull can't beat Larry David without curb enthusiasm. Lyricism ain't even your strong suit.
Got very nasty verbally.
Yes, sir.
But of course, there's a handshake and a hug afterward. How do you do that?
It's all about just trying to maintain and understanding it's a business. At the end of the day, we're all businesses. When we get into that ring, we are presenting ourselves. We are putting ourselves in a situation where after this is over, you're going to see me. You're going to want to go out there and involve yourself with me. You're going to catch on with me and check on with me. But in the heat of the moment, it's tough because you don't know what they're going to say to you. You know, like someone like me, there's so much information on me in the world. You can go on Google and type my name, it's like 12 pages. So, you know, there's guys that'll battle me and they'll go look and try to find all these things. And then you don't know what they're going to say to you. So it's having that thick Kevlar-based skin, knowing that, hey, you could say something very outrageous to me, but it's okay though, because I have a bigger goal being here, and that is making sure that I'm seen, that I'm presented well, that I'm handling myself well. It's putting yourself in the mindset of knowing that anything can happen. But the big picture is, how did I present my art? How did I do it? And then it's also a thing where we don't decide the winner. So like even when I won the championship, I had to go through a gauntlet. I had to go through a whole bunch of stuff where we did have judges. But a myriad of times, there's no judging. It is two people with two different styles that come together, and the intent is whoever you like the most, this is who you think wins, right? But sometimes that kind of gets iffy too, because some people may say, well, I like that guy more, but I like this guy today, I like him tomorrow. It's weird, but it's just...
It's subjective, yeah.
It's subjective. You know, it's knowing that whatever I do, how am I representing myself? The average battle rapper will go in and say, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be great. I'm going to make sure I win. I'm going to go above and beyond. And then that's that. Me personally going into it, I don't care what anybody says. You know, I've battled... I've been a hip-hop artist for like 16 years, you know. So I've battled over 50, 60 times. I come from the era. I know how it is. And I guess it helps me out because I've dealt with being an average hip-hop artist, going in and out of the country, seeing different things, how it's presented. I have that perspective. A lot of battlers don't have that perspective. They just get in, hey, I'm a battle rapper, I can rap, put me on the stage to go on the stage, and that's about it. You know, me personally, it's the big picture. The average battler, it's going to be, well, you shouldn't have been this way. Get your feelings in check. You know what I mean? If you know what you signed up for, don't come in here thinking that that's going to be soft. And sometimes it is that way, sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
But it starts with knowing that, hey, anything can happen. Anything can be said. I'm built for it. I am confident in my ability. I can do the same, if not more. So it's having the confidence, knowing that anything can happen, but more importantly, having tough skin and looking at the big picture of what your performance is.
I would imagine that a lot of people as teenagers, or whenever you first got into hip hop, you probably look at that and you say, I can do that, or a lot of people say they can do that.
Yeah.
But at what point did you know that you were good enough, not just to battle rap, but just to be in the scene, just to try to make a living at this?
I knew when I was a senior in high school, because I used to walk around. I had a friend, I used to tell him all the time, because I battled in high school, I said, you know what, I'm going to be one of the best rappers in the entire state. Watch. So I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. I'm an introvert, though, right? I guess now I'm described as an ambivert. But
You're an introvert,
yeah,
really?
Yeah, like a true introvert. I'm telling you, you don't have to believe me.
No, I don't. But okay, no, it's okay.
It was
It's okay.
It was because for me, man, like my thing is mental health. You know what I mean? Like that's the big thing. I have bipolar depression, severe depression, things like that. I never had the ability to communicate those things growing up. I didn't know anything about therapy. I didn't know what I was even dealing with. But hip hop saved my life. It wasn't about being good enough to go out there and try my hand at it. It was being good enough to go out there and express myself. And maybe, just maybe, people will be able to look at me and say, I relate to that, man, I get it. But it was me wanting to be heard so much. I was a visual artist before I was a rapper. And I stopped because I said, this isn't loud enough. This isn't loud enough. I'm not competing with nobody, but I need to be heard. I want to be heard. I have a story to tell. So it was about turning 17, 18 and saying, I wanted to write a book, but didn't have the patience. I was a spoken word champion before, but I didn't have the patience. I wanted to be able to say what I wanted to say without restrictions, freely, and hip hop gave me the platform for it. So to answer your question as best as I possibly can here, I didn't think I was good enough to go and take a crack at it to make a living. I was more concerned with touching people, embracing people. I went to college to try to become a psychologist at one point, but I also realized that people relate to feeling. Feeling comes from music. Give me 30 seconds to make you feel, then we're trapped in there, we're engaged in there. And I was just so happened to be blessed that I was able to embrace the people that needed me at that time, and I didn't know it. Here I am rapping about I'm struggling. I don't know if medications are going to work. I don't know if I'm capable of being a regular person. Thought it was just me. But then so many people came to me later on and just started gravitating towards me because I had to break out that introversion and jump on stages or try to read off things, and they'll say, you know what, Pope, I felt that today. And and it was bigger than that, because now I went from wanting to be a rapper or a visual artist to I want to redefine and break a stigma. I want people to hear, feel, and be heard in every aspect of their life. That it's so much more than what we're looking at. Hip hop today is a very tricky game to play because it's all about what we have, what we don't have. Let's make somebody feel less. Let's make somebody feel important by all these materialistic things. When in reality, it's about, in order to even talk about these things, how do you feel internally? So to go back to your question, I never looked at it like this is something I can take a crack at and make a living off of. I just so happened to make a living because people wanted to live through me, and that's what I stand on. So that took a couple of years. I'm still like that. I'm 31, and I'm still saying to myself, man, how am I here? Why am I here? But I couldn't be here without great people, phenomenal people, people who feel like I feel, and they need someone to say it for them, because I am an introvert, but I just so happen to be the one that got thrown out there on the platform to speak for introverts who are just scared, truly, genuinely scared to speak. So I don't feel like it was, I want to go take a crack at to make a living. I just feel like it was my calling to do it. And this may not even be my last stop. So that's how I look at it now.
Well, okay, and I want to get to the visual art, and I know we want to get to this exhibit, but I want to back up to something that you touched on there.
Yes, sir.
And that is, if you turned on random 30 seconds of Pope Adrian Bless on YouTube, and you see the intensity that you bring to the game, whether that's a recording, whether that's a battle, this is why with hip hop and with you have to dive deep and you have to listen close, and maybe you have to listen multiple times, because you talking about mental health, you are exposing that vulnerability.
Yes, sir.
That a lot of people have trouble expressing.
Yes, sir.
And that's why you got to listen a little bit more closely than perhaps somebody just turning it on for the first time. They might see how intense you get.
Yeah.
And it's a lot deeper than that.
Yeah. And that's another thing too. It's just all about how you present it to somebody.
Yeah.
Like I'm a very big person on delivery. You know, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. What is your tone? You know, I've came across a lot of artists visually and audio wise that would, you know, hey, I'm going to create this because I think the people want to hear this. This is the only way I'm going to be heard. And I would say, well, are you hearing yourself? Well, I think it's what people want. But do you want it? Mm-hmm. You know, I'm a firm believer. If I can't be a fan of me first, I don't care who's a fan of me. If I can't like what I do, if I can enjoy how I create, if I cannot enjoy being on stage, if I cannot shake hands and kiss babies and talk to people the way I want to because of what I presented to them, I don't want to do it. If I don't feel confident in who I am, I shouldn't create at all. And that right there, I think, is a battle that I've had for a long time because when I did come in, it was a lot of people, you know, just giving the game what people thought they needed. Again, here's the cars, here's the clothes, here's the money, here's the women, here's the opportunities that are not realistic. And if they are realistic, we're not talking about the pros and cons. As above, so below. Can we talk about the so below? My job is to speak about the so below. It just so happens that my so below is just a little bit more enraged, a little bit more hurt, a little bit more in pain than me saying, hey, let me tell you how much money I made today. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's true, but I did it in a way that required me having to get out of bed when I didn't want to. I had to get my daughter prepared for school, get her breakfast, do everything in the world, even when I may not have had the mentality or the spirit to do it. Let's talk about these things. Let's talk about how I have sat and been homeless for 6 to 8 months of my life. And I could go on a record and lie and say I wasn't and tell you how great I am today, but is it really going to do anything for you later on? Because I don't believe in giving you anything of art that you can look at or hear maybe for a day or two and say, man, I like this. And then it goes away. I want you to feel to the depth that, number one, it's okay to be vulnerable. If you lose, you lose. It's fine. You're still supported. If you win. It's fine. You're still supported. But you need to hear it. I'm a stoic. You know what I mean? I'm a firm believer in, you know, prepare for the best, expect the worst, but we need the gray area. Let's give them the gray area. People are people. I'm a people person. Our God for the people start a campaign. They should throw me in for president. That's exactly how I operate. So the vulnerability of art is the beauty of the world that we're in. And that's what I try to showcase in every single thing I do. So people who may not do art or think about doing art or fans of art can say, I want to dive into this because there's so much more here than I've been given. You know, these first 30 seconds of one artist could be, man, I'm turned. I'm ready to go out on Saturday and Sunday and be, yeah, and then go to work, but I'm not going to play so I know where to work. I want to give you something that you can invest in, that you can listen for, that you can play at any given point in time. I want to make you feel like Les Brown make you feel. I want to make you feel like Jim Rohn make you feel. I want to make you feel like people who've taken time and platforms and been a part of multi-billion-dollar self-improvement industries make you feel. The same money someone would pay to go on a boat or a trip for $50 to $1,000 to listen to a man they don't know tell them that they have the same capability as them to be successful. I can tell you that for free. All you need to do is go look for those people and be that person. It's no scam. It's no business. There's no structure to that. I'm a human being. I just so happen to have a few things that make me a little bit more human than others. Mm-hmm. And that's what the promotion of it is. That's what I hope to give folks. And I hope that other artists coming into this can do the same because that's what we need. That's why it's so hard for people to really get into visual art too because they don't know what they're looking at. I don't know what I'm looking at. I can look at Starry Night right now and not know nothing, and just say, man, that looks nice. And that's it. No. I want you to look at my things and say, I feel that. I tattoo these things on people. You know what I mean? I sit and tell all of my clients the same. I said, if you can't feel nothing from me, then don't come to me. Because this is a session. Every time I open my mouth, it's therapy. Every time I put a paintbrush on the canvas, it's therapy. It's about me, sure, but it's more importantly about the human race. I want us to feel comfortable being who we are, flaws and all. You can take a loss and still be incredible. We don't have to make this a defining thing. And the first 30 seconds of a song for most people, it's how they won, but they didn't tell them how they won. They just bragged on it. And sometimes that sounds good, but it doesn't help you in the next 10, 20 years when you got to start your life over again and again and again and try new things and embrace new things. You need that backing and support. And as an artist, it's my job to give you the backing and support because I am a man of the people with the gifts I was given.
Les Brown, that's going old school right there. Just a shout out to Les Brown.
He was a great guy. His beard was nice.
He was, yeah. It was a sweet beard.
Like,
so
how did he do that?
I can't grow facial hair, so I don't know. So
I'm about to get extensions now.
All right. Mortuary Madness, October 7th.
Yes,
the visual art. Okay, we know that you're going to be performing, so you're going to hear Pope Adrian Bless. What are they going to see when they show up?
They're going to see parts of them that they don't want to see, and it's okay. Cry with me, I'll cry with you too. Anytime I make art, listen, I told somebody last week, I'm like, you can't look at my stuff and be like, man, don't smile about it. If you're going to smile about it, smile because you learned something. All my stuff is horror, it's dark. I have no shame. People call me the mortician for a reason. I kill everything I touch. But in order for death to happen, life comes. As a baby's being born, somebody dies. In this exhibit, I want you to see everything and be like, I feel rejuvenated. I'll give you an example. There was a piece I had, and I may actually present it there as well. An awesome lady came to me. She said, Pope, I have 3 boys. And as a mother to 3 boys, this piece, which I didn't know was going to be that impactful. It was just something I was trying to exercise out. She says, I feel the power of being a single black mother with 3 boys, just looking at this piece. I didn't realize how impactful my job really was. Like, I knew my job was great, but to have it actually showcased on a canvas. And again, I didn't understand that at first, but it goes right back to what I was just alluding to. The feeling. Feeling. People who followed me for years through all social media or know me personally know I'm all about the feeling. So any piece that you'll see that day will be dedicated to, here's something about bipolar depression. Here is major depressive disorder. Here's borderline personality disorder. Here are things that we just don't discuss. My art is based around things we just won't discuss. So if you're prepared to come in and cry, and have a realization, or just enjoy the visual, and you ain't gotta know what it means at all. You're going to walk out with one thing specific, and that's my name. My name. The man, the myth, the icon, the war machine. You'll remember, whether it's the visual or the feeling, but you will walk away with a seed planted, and you'll come back. And you'll come back, and you'll come back and keep watering and watering and watering it, because you get to see a part of yourself that you ain't discussing, that you're not communicating to other people. Like, I wish I could show you a piece now that I was working on. It's this lady, she's multicolored, she has a snake coming out of her mouth, she has all this gold on, but she's dying in the face. A friend of mine said, man, that's beautiful, those colors. I said, but what do you feel? He said, well, I feel like I'm losing in life. I said, well, why? He said, because this is how I feel. The body's wonderful. It's all these radiant colors, these high-end rainbow colors, but look at her face. It's all this dark green and mahogany reds, and there's snakes coming out. Well, this looks good on paper, but is this what I'm presenting to people as a human being? I said, maybe you are, because you can see somebody and see greatness in them if you want to. And that's on you to decide what that greatness is. But in order for that to really showcase, the person you see it in has to be the one to decide if what they're showing you is as true as what they're presenting to you. So when you come to Mortuary Madness, when you come in, you have to ask yourself this. Number one, am I ready to check my ego at the door? Am I prepared to look at things that I may not have ever seen before? More importantly, am I ready to embrace a deeper meaning of who I am? You're not going to look at my stuff and think this is all butterflies and roses. There's no way in the world. The world is an Armageddon. There's no way. I want you to get in tune. When you look at my art, get in tune with yourself. Because I didn't make it for me. I love creating it, but I made it for these people. Mortuary Madness means that by the time you come in, you will feel more alive than you ever felt. And you will kill off anything prior that made you feel less than that before you got there. So that's how I'm looking at that, and I hope that translates the same way on October 7th.
Killing off to create life in the month of October. How poetic and how appropriate as well from Pope Adrian Bless. Mortuary Madness is going to be at Listen Here, Big Car Collaborative, that's down on Shelby close to Garfield Park. We'll have the info at WRTV.com, and you will see and hear the champ and his artwork, Pope Adrian Bless. It's been a pleasure having you in here, man.
It's been a great thing having you, man.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir.